So the next thing we want to do is we want to blend this in believably. And in order to do that, we're going to use a mask. We learned about masks in the past, but we've been making it pretty simple and we're ramping it up each time. So here we're going to get a little bit detailed in the mask. And one great shortcut for making a mask with a layer that has objects cut out. We can know that this horn layer doesn't fill the whole document. If we hide our lion, we can see that's all there is on the layer. Photoshop has a great trick where you can Control or Command click on a layer, and you see when I move over the thumbnail with the Control key held down or Command on the Mac, I get this little icon of this hand and it shows sort of a selection marquee on top. What that means is if I click on that thumbnail, Photoshop will automatically select everything that's on that layer. That's a great trick because now with this selection, watch what happens when I add a mask to this layer. The mask is already preset with my horns in there. So it's hiding automatically the whole rest of the document and it's only revealing the horns. This is a really great trick for quickly masking the contents of a particular layer. So that's trick number one. Trick number two is that when we use the mask, I'm going to click here on my paintbrush and we know that black hides, white reveals. And I never pay attention to which one's up front. I just paint a little bit and I can see, okay, I'm in erasing mode. If I hit X, it paints it back in. So X just swaps my foreground and background, so it's just swapping my black and white. If I don't have black and white as the colors in there, I can hit D on the keyboard and it will automatically set them to black and white. And then I can just come in and start painting. And what I want to do is, I'm going to hit X to swap those out. I'm going to get a fairly big brush and I need to make sure that on my brush, the hardness is all the way down. And then I'm going to just kind of start painting the edges off, that jagged edge of my selection. And look how it kind of believably makes it look like my hair is kind of blending into the lion. Now, here I have a problem because I have this line that I want to get rid of. And I could try and make the brush hard and go in there. But then what if I accidentally mess up the horns, right? If I go out, it's just going to be too tough to get in there perfectly and fix this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint this whole corner back in. Trick number two is called quick mask mode. And this is also something that's good to know about because sometimes people accidentally get into this mode and it's really confusing when it happens and you don't know what's going on. So what we want to do is just select this part of our layer. And I'm painting right now with my white to just make sure I don't have anything erased. I want the horns to be perfect. And now what I'm going to do is just make a selection here, right around that area that I want to fix. And I'll zoom in a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is hit Q on the keyboard. Now there's also a shortcut over here in the menu. It's right here. But if you are ever working in Photoshop and everything turns red like this, don't freak out. It's just quick mask mode. This is actually a really helpful mode because what it allows me to do is paint the area that I am selecting. So I'm going to click on my paintbrush and it works just like the mask. I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to turn the hardness up to 100. And then I'm going to just come in and everything I don't want to erase, like the horns, we don't want to fade away. So I'm just painting along these horns. And now, let me get it pretty perfect. And the part that's actually critical is right here. None of this matters because this is already made black anyway when we made our masks. The part that we need to fix is right here where it blends. We want this hair to be able to fade out, but not the horns. So now when I hit Q again, or I can click on the icon over here in the toolbar, either way, look, I've got a selection. Now here's the critical part. I need to make sure that I'm on my mask. Whenever you're working on masks, before you paint, always look and see if it's selected. And when you go into quick mask mode, it kind of always forces it over to go onto the layer. So make sure you're on your mask. And now check this out. I'm going to paint. Okay, I'm not erasing. I'm going to hit X to erase. Okay, good. See how I'm erasing? My brush is too hard, so I'm going to turn that all the way down to 0 again. Do X to paint it back in. And now I'm going to just sort of paint off these edges. I'll make the brush a little bit bigger. And see how I'm kind of just using the very edge of the brush to just And I'm going back and forth a bunch to slowly sort of nibble away at this detail. But check this out. I can't erase the horn. Look, I can't erase the horn or any of this hair over here. The only area I can erase is inside my selection. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the beauty of quick mask mode. And that's pretty much it right there. I think I'm looking good. I do Command or Control D to deselect it. Wow, that looks really good actually. I'm going to back out of my image, double click the hand. Wow, that's perfect. I've got some fur kind of sprouting off the edge, but I haven't missed any of the horn. I can see I've got the same thing over here. Go ahead and do that on your own. I'm not going to walk you through it. I'm going to just sort of clean it up so the hair is not going over the snout of the lion. And oh, I also want to make his eye visible. He has an eye over here. Yeah, let me see. Let me just get a little bit. Paint in the hair again. Paint out the edges. So there we go. So now we've got a very fashionable lion. This lion, he's going to the homecoming dance for sure with a real live lioness. So now I'm going to just use my quick mask mode over here. I'm going to zoom in on this just a smidge. I make a big selection first. Go to Q for quick mask mode. Click my paintbrush. Oh, I need it nice and hard to get that edge solid right there. And really none of this matters since it's already masked. But I just want to have just this edge right here so I can go in and blend that out without affecting and erasing any of the horn. So I hit Q again. Make sure that I'm on mask. Remember that it switches back to the layer. Move that over a bit. And now I'm just going to hit X. So I have black. Remember, black hides, white reveals. Ooh, turn the hardness down. And Control D or Command D on the Mac. Perfect, believable, good to go. It's looking pretty good, right? So now that was a lot of work. It took a fair amount of time. It was a lot of work. So now what I'm going to do is just save again. So I just go to File, Save. I already gave it a name and a location, so that just updated it. So it overwrote my old crummy one with this awesome one with this great mask. And the beauty of all of these tricks are everything we've done is non-destructive. I can paint back in what I erased. I can adjust my hue and brightness and saturation. It's all perfect.